Eric, first, we want to hear from you. Uh, who is Eric?
Who is Eric? Well, I am an old man, and I was thinking about that question. I started out working with the U.S. credit bureaus in 1979 when I was going to college. I was going to college at night, and I needed a job, and I was offered a job delivering paper credit bureau reports out of my car. And then I learned about something called credit scoring. And I was fascinated by how you could use computers to automate what humans were doing, which was evaluating credit. So from there, one thing led to another, and I joined a credit bureau to help them launch credit scoring models, which it was a huge technology leap for banks. And then from there, in the late 1980s, I helped a U.S. credit bureau develop and launch the first credit bureau scores, first generation credit bureau scores. Finally, joining Fair Isaac or FICO in 1992 to help them launch a practice in the southern U.S. So I've been at this for quite a while. When I think about all the things and all the people that I've met, it's been such a wonderful career. But I left FICO after 16 years as vice president of their middle market organization. And then went to First Data International for a couple of years to help them launch a global analytics practice, and was recruited by SAS 12 years ago to help them globally launch their real-time fraud detection and monitoring and decisioning solutions. So I'm still excited after 12 years at SAS to get out of bed every day. It's such an interesting job. And I've met you and colleagues. I've been to Columbia many times. So who is Eric? I'm a person that likes to travel. I love the notion of using technology to solve problems. And fraud is a perfect blend of art and science that requires smarts from human beings along with math and operational platforms to get in front of fraud each and every day.
Wow, great experience, Eric. Thank you. The second, why are you interested in the analysis and detection of financial crimes?
Well, I'm just passionate about something I just said, which is using math and technology to find the grain of sand that may be fraud, to find that rare event as quickly as possible to help our clients and human beings from being victimized by fraudsters. So I'm fascinated by the science. I'm a nerd at heart. So fraud represents a very interesting way of bringing together things that I've always found very, very, very interesting. And then there's the other side of it about, seeing how fraud hurts economies and people. And I feel like those of us that are fighting fraud help society by first identifying. And, the old joke was 20 years ago, no one knew what we did when we said we were fighting fraud. Now everybody, now your mother knows about bank card fraud and other types of fraud. So I feel very good about working in this area because it helps people.
Okay, nice. Thank you, Eric. What are the main challenge that companies face in the fight against fraud? What do you think?
Well, I see this every day, clients large and small. And I'm not just talking about banks, I'm talking about department stores and telecoms and insurance companies. It's basically trying to get organized so that they have a clear view of their data and how decisions are being made or not made. I see that very large organizations don't share data between one side and the other side. So, the main challenges are not having access to data, not having the tools and people in place to understand what happened. I use the word like CSI does, forensic investigation. So the big challenge is one side of a client may have data that they won't give to the other side. So bringing the data together so you can have a full view of the fraud problem that faces your company, that's a huge challenge. And there are those of us that work in this industry, it's up to us to help people get there. And so to me, fixing the data and the data access problem will do many things to help fight fraud and get organized to fight fraud.
Okay, yes. Eric, what do you think about the anti-fraud culture, and what do you suggest to create an anti-fraud culture?
Well, part of it is to create a culture of curiosity and openness. What does that mean? It's almost like, if I don't care what you do for a company, if you see something that looks like it's wrong, say something. And don't be afraid. So, so setting up an anti-fraud culture means that you need an environment that's friendly enough and open enough so that all employees are welcome to knock on the door and say, look at this. This looks like a problem. Enabling employees to speak up without fear and retribution is important. Yeah, so reward curiosity. I mean, this is easy to talk about, very hard to do, but set up an environment that lets your employees try and experiment. I call it failing fast. Let them learn and discover and sort of get ahead of fraud by experimenting. And also the other advice of setting up a fraud culture is to see things from the customer perspective. It's easy to stop all fraud, but that means you do no business because too many employees are affected. So if you look at what you're doing in to fight fraud from the customer's viewpoint, then you can see that there needs to be a balance between fraud detection and the customer experience. So all of those things work together to create, or could work together, create an anti-fraud culture.
Okay, thank you, Eric. And the last question. What do you think is important of joining our Global Anti-Fraud Alliance?
Well, I'm very excited to be invited to join the panel because I look forward to learning by listening to what other members have to say. I call it give to get. I will freely give what I have learned, and I look forward to getting back from people that work in different parts of the industry so we can come together and trade ideas in a way that benefits us all.
Yes, thank you, Eric, again for your time and joining this alliance. I am sure that we will have a very good result. Thank you.